relief. You two take care of labor.
Only intended for a plane capsule.
You don't want to die of cold. Toll free.
Oh god, the battery on that is about to go. Okay, well this will just make me go faster. Hello, hi, my name is Brian Lloyd. Welcome to the very first episode of Screenland. This, if you can see here, is my dog Eddie, or if you're listening, this is my dog Eddie. I don't know if you could hear him sniffing, but that was my dog Eddie. So this is the very first episode. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just being here. What is Screenland? Okay, so about I want to say 8 months ago, I started a Substack called Screenland. Wrote for a while on it, doing what I had done previously, which was, writing reviews, writing features about movies and TV and so on and so forth. Honestly, didn't feel like it kind of went anywhere. Honestly, if I can be vulnerable right off the bat, I had spent the last 12 years writing for entertainment.ie, doing, again, reviews, TV, movie, features, news articles, the whole lot, anything and everything. And when I sat down to write on my own Substack, I really kind of felt like I didn't have any juice left in the tank, if I can admit that. It just didn't feel the same. I didn't really kind of feel any necessity is the wrong word. I don't know. I just didn't have anything in me. I couldn't write. There you go. I just felt like I was writing just to kind of, keep myself going, keep myself busy, keep my instincts sharp, as it were. But it just really felt like work. And it felt like work, and I wasn't being paid for it because it was Substack. And, I didn't have a following. I don't have a huge social media following. I'll cop to that straight away because I was never good at it. I'm still not good at it. So how this is all going to work out, I don't know. What I do know, however, Eddie, dude, you were so checked out. It's kind of hilarious. Like, you were so fast asleep. It's so funny. Why am I doing this then? If I felt like that was, if I felt like writing was the way out or was gone. I don't know. Being honest, I really don't know. I just felt like I had to do something. This kind of felt like, I'm not saying like the written word is dead. I'm clearly not saying that, but it just felt like maybe in me it is dead. That's a very sad thing to admit. I am laying so much on you, and we're not even 5 minutes in. I really, really apologize. This is not one of these confessional things. Okay, so what's Screenland? Basically, each week, each episode, I'm going to talk about what I have seen on my screens. So that's on the big screen, that's cinemas, small screen, that's TV, and then the very, very small screen, which is what's been on my phone. I'll be talking about what's, the new releases of the week, and which is probably why you're here, we will have a guest. I will have a guest every week. First one out is my best. I think she's honestly my best friend. Certainly the friend I've known the longest continuously. It's Shauna O'Reilly. She is the showbiz reporter for the Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show. She's also an assistant producer on that. She's currently hosting a radio show on Oasis FM, which is like the DAB thing that the Go Loud network are doing. So you can check that out. She's on social media as well, obviously. Shauna O'Reilly, 86, I think it is, on Instagram. But yeah, she's great. So each guest is going to pick a piece of screen, and I hate using this word, content. So it could be a YouTube channel. It could be a film. It could be a TV show. It could be a TV episode. It could be a TikTok. It could be anything. Shauna has picked the YouTube channel of Miss Rachel for Littles because Shauna's a mother, And she had a really interesting kind of perspective on what Miss Rachel is doing, in the fact that, you know, initially you would kind of dismiss it as this sort of sing-songy, kind of annoying children's TV presenter, and in actual fact there's a lot more going into it. It was really, really interesting. I don't have kids myself, so my perspective on it was a little bit limited, but Shauna helped me to see so much more going in it. So it's a really, really good chat. Stay around for that. What have I been watching this week? Okay, so let's get into it. So I am just back from the press screening for Weapons. Weapons is written and directed by Zach Greger, who previously did Barbarian, and it stars Josh Brolin and Julia Garner. And the premise, okay, so I'll give you the premise, but I would say this is one of those films that you are better off not reading any review of it. You should go in as cold as possible, because it is, I mean, look, that's true of most films, but particularly in this case. The reason being that anything I tell you about it, in terms of, like, you know, plot and story and all the rest of it, is going to ruin the experience of it. And it's actually kind of telling as well that a lot of the promotion around it has been very, very vague. The top line notes: a school class disappears one night, all except for one child and the teacher. The teacher is played by Julia Garner. And then it's the entire community kind of reeling from it, trying to figure out what exactly happened. Why did all these kids from this one class disappear and there was one child left over? And how did they plan it? And why did they plan it? And what is it all about? The nearest thing I could kind of compare this to would be Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. Now, for a couple of reasons. Structurally, but also kind of tonally as well, in that structurally it goes kind of through each different person that was connected to this story, how they became to be involved in it, where they were prior, where they were during, and where they were afterwards. And again, it's not a Rashomon thing. I mean, there's no sort of unreliable narrator. Everyone is telling the truth just from how they kind of their own perspective. Like, you see one scene where Julia Garner has been rushed out of the school, and one side of it is from her perspective, and then later on you see Josh Brolin's perspective, and then you see, you know, it just moves on like that, and it kind of cuts in and out of the stories very, very well, and it's all layered together quite well. The tonally part of it, though, is that there are some scenes in this where it's not that it's funny, but that it wants you to kind of look at the screen and be like, huh? What? Again, the way that kind of Magnolia does very well. Magical realism, I guess, is the kind of tone that Magnolia was going for, but this is more sort of like, how messed up is this? And everyone's trying to figure it out. The big kind of thing that I got from this is, and again, I hate using this phrase, you know, the term elevated horror is thrown around a lot. And, you know, what is elevated horror really? You know, would you call Wes Craven's Scream elevated horror? Would you call The People Under the Stairs elevated horror? You know, is A Nightmare on Elm Street an elevated horror? Who knows? What I would say about Weapons, and again, using that phrase, yes, you could describe it as an elevated horror, because it doesn't go for, at least not initially, it doesn't go for cheap thrills and cheap scares. It goes more for an atmospheric kind of vibe. It's very much, you know, long takes where you're looking at shadows, you're looking at the kind of the lines, and you're looking at the kind of what's going on, and there's no sound whatsoever, and it's just allowing you to kind of let that, you know, the dread kind of seep in, and then bam, you'll see something, and then it won't make sense until the final 30 minutes of the film. And again, I'm not going to go into it, because I really do think you need to kind of come to this as cleanly as possible, which is to say, I liked it. I don't know if I loved it. The previous film that Zach Greger did was a film called Barbarian. And you can see the kind of the tone. You can see the similar sort of like vibe shift that there's going on, where it starts off and it's kind of funny and you're not sure if you should be laughing, but then it kind of creeps more into horror, and then it's just balls to the wall horror. And it's interesting because like horror and comedy are very, very connected. You know, it's very much that thing of it's completely involuntary, the audience reaction. You either are scared or you are not scared. And you have to, you know, in creating that, you don't know it's scary, you won't know it's funny until it's in front of people. And again, everyone's mileage varies, doesn't it? Because some people will find, like, you know, The Naked Gun hilarious. Other people will not find it funny. Some people will find Hereditary to be hilarious in parts, you know. And then other people will find it really, really disturbing and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, everyone's kind of mileage varies. Having said that, I found this to be really, really interesting. I do think, like, there's a metaphor here. There's clearly metaphor going on here. Like, I initially was going into this thinking, okay, this is actually going to be about school shootings and the idea of, like, how, you know, to everyone else in the entire planet, the fact that school shootings have happened and continue to happen in the US and no serious legislation has been enacted. The society has just come to accept it as, oh, well, that happens, you know. As a European, as an Irish person, that's totally fucked. I don't understand it. It's so strange. It will never ever make sense to me. I don't think it can make sense. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to the people who have gone through it. I'm sure it doesn't make sense to Americans. But it's there, and it's a part of their society, and they just these things seem to happen every couple of months, and then they all just move on. And there is a kind of, I don't know, an amnesia about it. People forget that these things, at least culturally, widely, generally speaking, everyone just sort of moves on. And maybe that's what Weapons is about, this idea of something absolutely, you know, mind-bending happens. No one fully understands it. No one can really move on. Everyone has to try process it. But then, as the film kind of progresses, you realize, no, it came from one specific place. And it's just taken a hold of people. It's just latched onto people. It's just become this sort of parasite. And, you know, again, watching it, trying to interpret it, trying to figure out what the metaphor is, trying to figure out what it's all about, I felt like I was reaching a lot of the time. I felt like I was trying to infer things that aren't necessarily there, or at least try to tie it in with the context that the film is set in, because it's set in modern times. Now, I mean, social media and phones and, you know, YouTube and the internet doesn't really factor into it. It's very much, you know, this could have been a period piece. This could have easily have been set in the 70s or the 80s or the 90s even. But it's set very much in our time. And, you know, part of me kind of thought, and again, I could be just completely misreading this, so bear that in mind. I did kind of think maybe it's about the far right, that it's coming from an older generation. It's coming into our houses. It's infecting people. And then it just turns people into weapons. It just turns people against each other. It turns, you know, far-right fanaticism, fascism, whatever you want to call it, MAGA, Trump. It's a parasite. It has latched onto people's brains, turned them into mindless zombies. And is, you know, is that what this is? Is that what this film is about? I don't know. Maybe, you know, being... You know, maybe that's just, like, again, that could be just me just inferring it, you know, that kind of way. Like, I'm always kind of, the thing with horror is that everyone is trying to infer something. Everyone is trying to see a metaphor. But sometimes it's just, this is scary as shit. Like, I always go back to John Carpenter, and he always talks about how, you know, his films, they can be intellectualized, but sometimes it's not the case. Like, you know, you could look at something like The Thing, and initially The Thing was all kind of set in the era of, you know, the Red Scare and McCarthyism, and, you know, what does that mean? But then, like, you know, you look, that was the original, but then you look at, you know, John Carpenter's one, and again, this was in the 80s, but, was the Soviet Union the bad guy in this? Was it our own fear? Like you can read into it, but I don't necessarily know if it was there. I think people just infer those things. Now, then go to something like The People Under the Stairs. That's very, to me at least, and Wes Craven said as much as well, I think, it was very much a critique of society under Reagan, the late 80s, the consumerism, all of that. The idea of, like, picket fences and, that sort of social conservatism hides something terribly dark and, awful underneath it. Repression. And again, this is what I'm saying to you. I'm looking at weapons and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's about this, maybe it's that. I don't know. Until Zach Cregger comes out and says, hey, it's actually about this, it's actually about that, we won't know. I would say, though, there are a lot of times in it that I really was thinking, oh yeah, that's what that's about. This is about Trump. Because, and again, I can't really talk about this without kind of going into spoilers. I might do next episode, I might kind of do, if there's enough interest in it, I might do a kind of spoiler-y-esque, whatever, review, and we'll talk about it. If the film does well, if people are talking about it. I think people will talk about it because it's there's a lot in it. It's very meaty. There's so much in it that you can read into it. There is so much kind of depth to it. And maybe that's what elevated horror is when you come down to it. It's horror films with depth. It's horror films that are talking about the world that we live in and using that language, that genre to address it. Josh Brolin, fantastic in it. Julia Garner is good in it. The real standout for me, though, was Alden Ehrenreich. And I was talking to a buddy of mine before we sat down to do the screening, and he was talking about Alden Ehrenreich, and he says, like, yeah, he really kind of based his character on John C. Reilly from Magnolia. And afterwards it was like, oh yeah, this is clearly inspired by Magnolia, and his performance is very similar to that, in that he's a dipshit cop, who just can't catch a break, is always messing up, even the mustache and just the fact that he's a cop. But he was great in it. Like, I think Alden Ehrenreich is one of these actors that, he was kind of initially thrust, into the limelight and was like, oh, he's the next big thing. He's going to be Harrison Ford 2.0. Let's get him into Solo. And that didn't work out. I thought he was great in it, but it didn't work out for him. And now, you look at him in Oppenheimer, for example, and, when he's placed against someone, he has enough presence to kind of carry the scene forward without it necessarily being all about him. He's really got that character actor vibe, But yeah, he was the real standout for me in this. I don't know. I see, this is it. I think it's going to the first hour and a half. It's laying the kind of groundwork. Yeah, it's laying the groundwork, Eddie. It's laying the groundwork. It's setting everything up. And then the last half an hour, it just goes hell for leather. It's just a real sprint to the finish. I kind of wish if it was a bit more balanced. And that's just a personal thing. I kind of wish it was more sort of, and I get it, like, you're trying to layer the characters, you're trying to kind of make us connect with them, you're trying to set it up so that when they do experience threat, when it is going into a horror, you do care about it, the stakes are there. But yeah, I don't know, I kind of felt like, I don't know, maybe more judicious editing. Maybe if it was like 20 minutes shorter, and I don't know where you'd find those 20 minutes in it. It just felt like it kind of was like, okay, I know this is coming. Just get to it. And maybe that's just my own impatience, But it's definitely well made. It's definitely a good movie. I definitely enjoyed it. So I guess this is a recommendation. I mean, we're not going to be hard and fast about recommendations. I'll just say I liked it. I'm not going to give you a star rating. I enjoyed it. The other film that's out this week is Freakier Friday. Okay. Full disclosure. I vaguely remember seeing the original one. I'm talking about the one back in 2003. I remember liking it. I think Jamie Lee Curtis is at her best when she is doing comedic roles. I think she's a really good comedic actor. The one that I will always point to is True Lies. I think True Lies is hilarious. It's so funny. I crack up every time I'm watching it. You know, do it slowly. You know, I love it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, again, great comedic actor when he's given the chance. Lindsay Lohan, I mean, you know, there is... I never feel I can kind of put the studs into any performance that Lindsay Lohan is in, because I think she's a very vulnerable person. I think she's had a lot of troubles in her life, and, you know, she seems to be in a healthier place, you know, other than the fact that she's in Dubai, which is, you know, problematic, I guess. I don't know, Dubai, really? Jesus, Dubai. Oof. Sorry if you're in Dubai and you're listening to this or watching this, but, you know, Dubai, like. Anyways, I enjoyed this. This was fine. This was fun and frothy. You know, Chad Michael Murray is back in it as well, very funny. Manny Jacinto, he basically is, you know, could be this generation's Hugh Grant. I don't know. He's great in a romantic lead. Loved him in The Acolyte. And not enough people watch The Acolyte, by the way. That's you've missed out on that. You should watch it. But, you know, it's fine. It's grand. It's probably going to do silly money because, you know, people like a throwback. People like to have a fun time in cinemas. If you're going to the cinema this weekend and you want something light and enjoyable, and, you know, you could bring your kids to it or bring a teenager to it, or you don't want to think too hard, you just want to have an enjoyable time, Freakier Friday, that's grand. Go right ahead. If you are looking to get messed up, if you are looking to really kind of be like terrorized, sure, weapons is the thing for you. That's all I can really say about Freakier Friday. It's okay. I mean, you know what's going on. They swap bodies. Jessica Butters, I think is her name. She was the kid in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's Lindsay Lohan's daughter. The story is Lindsay Lohan is about to get married to Manny Jacinto. Jamie Lee Curtis is now a podcaster and a psychologist. Jamie Lee Curtis swaps body with her Lindsay Lohan's soon-to-be stepdaughter. And then there's loads of jokes about millennials. There's loads of jokes about boomers. Like, one dig that I loved was very funny, where she opens up, Jamie Lee Curtis as the stepdaughter opens up the laptop and opens up Facebook, and she goes, "Look, it's a database. It's a database of all people." You know, it's funny. And then there's a whole thing of, like, you know, the kids are trying to be older than they are. You know, it's funny. Like, again, like, the jokes are very obvious. It's not that hard to watch. It's bright, you know, like they shot it in LA, and, you know, you really do feel like that LA is as much a character in this as everyone else. I know that's almost cliche to say, but you can really see the brightness, you know, that sort of way. You can tell that it was made there. Like, even like one of the high schools that it's in is, I recognized it was the high school from Licorice Pizza, so that was a nice little touch. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't know if I can really kind of go any further into it. I'm sure if I loved the original, I'm sure if you loved the original, you're going to love this, because it feels like the same film. Just 22 years later, you know. Thumbs up on that, I guess. Okay, so I will recommend something older just for now. I have been rewatching Sharpe. If you don't know what Sharpe is, it was basically this like series of like 90-minute TV movies that were made in the 90s with Sean Bean. And he plays this like British officer in, like, you know, the Napoleonic Wars and stuff like that. It is a real indicator of a lost art in television, I think, where it's the Sunday afternoon show. It's, you know, energetic enough, but you could watch it very, very passively and still enjoy it and still kind of get everything that's going on in it. Like, it's a real nice, comfortable show. I mean, it's thrilling, you know, like it's a swashbuckler and it's, you know, Napoleonic Wars and there's swords and scabbards and duels and loads of young actors. Like the first episode, Daniel Craig is in it as a, like when he was like in his 20s, I would say. If this wasn't his first screen role, I'd say it was very, very early in his career and stuff. And, you know, who else was in it? There was there's loads. You'll see like kind of actors in it that you're like, oh yeah, him. I know that guy. God, he looks so young in this. But it's enjoyable. I really, really like them. There were just. It was just. I've been playing Hold Fast, if you know that game, and I was like, oh yeah, Sharpe. And then obviously now my algorithm thinks I'm like a mid-50s Englishman because I keep just getting recommendations for Sharpe, and you know. The rest is history and, you know, all that kind of jazz. And I'm not mad about it. You know, it's just kind of like, come on, really? So, yeah, Sharpe. A lot of the episodes are up on YouTube, so you can check that out. Or if you have ITVX, if you've got a VPN or any of those kind of things, you can watch it there. Right, so we're now going to get on to the interview with Shauna. This interview was recorded on my phone, so if you're watching this, the camera quality is about to dramatically disintegrate. I apologize. What happened was I filmed like 4 interviews on my phone because I was waiting for a camera to arrive. The camera now arrived, so if you're watching this now, this is in lovely like 1080p and it looks great, and I hope it looks great. But yeah, I had to film it on my phone, so it's a little bit janky, but you know, it's a great conversation nonetheless. Maybe listen to it instead of watch it. I don't know. Does everything need to be a show? Does everything need to be on video? Apparently, yes. Okay, so check it out. Today I am joined by Shauna O'Reilly, who is the entertainment reporter for the Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show. Also, producer? Yeah, producer. That's we can say that. That's allowed. Yeah. Formerly host of Saturday Night Hits on Today FM.
Very good. Yes.
And for you people out there that like a bit of parasocial relationships, Shauna was the witness at my wedding.
Yeah.
So
one of two.
One of 5 people at the wedding, and Shauna was witness at it. So your choice for Screenland today is Miss Rachel. Now, okay, to start off with, obviously I only have a very, very limited understanding and knowledge of Miss Rachel, primarily because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Right? Why would I? Why would I know anything about Miss Rachel? Because it's just, you know. It's not
in your sphere.
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. And in fact, the only time I've ever seen anything about Miss Rachel was friends who have kids talking about Miss Rachel, saying, oh my God, isn't she brilliant?
Yeah.
Isn't she so good? And she did this all by herself and look what she's doing and blah, 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 blah. So, it's a YouTube channel, am I right?
Yes. So she is a YouTuber. One of the bigger YouTubers.
Right.
And basically a children's entertainer, children's educator. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had no idea about Miss Rachel until my son Finn was born in 2022. And that was my first introduction to her. It actually came through the mothers group I was part of at the time.
All right.
Somebody suggested.
Pause.
Yeah.
Was this a WhatsApp group?
Yeah.
Mothers have WhatsApp groups?
It was unbelievably helpful. It still is. So I joined a group of Irish mothers who had children in April 2022. It starts as a Facebook group, and then we graduated to a WhatsApp group, and it became like it was amazing.
Further questions. Was this like in like your ward in the hospital, like, or was it just like?
So somebody recommended to me when I was pregnant with Finn. Somebody said join your Facebook pregnancy group. So there are groups there. So April 2022 babies is what it's called. I
have a look of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
seriously.
Go on. Yeah, all right.
But it ended up being one of the most invaluable tools, and these people are now fully my friends. In fact, I'm going to meet them on Sunday. We have a kind of an annual babies meetup.
Right.
But these people were like, we were there for each other in the trenches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So that's where Miss Rachel came from. One of the girls in the group said, might have mentioned in passing that she had put Miss Rachel on for her probably 6-month-old at that stage. Right. And I thought, who's this Miss Rachel one? And I turned it on. And initially, my immediate reaction was, oh, fuck no.
Yeah.
No way. Turn that off. Because to the naked eye and ear,
yes,
a very, very annoying tone, a very annoying voice, very irritating kind of.
And that's most, like, I mean, let's be honest about it. Like, most child presenters, not to... Just to...
No, it is...
They're all very annoying.
But it's the sing-song way. And unfortunately, that's the way you get through to children. You have to speak to them in that nicey. And that's what works. But when I initially turned it on, and I remember Chris, my partner, being in the next room going, turn that shite off. But quickly, we realised that Miss Rachel was a very valuable tool. And obviously... parents will understand this. There's a lot of judgment around screen time, right?
Yeah.
And
I know that I'm familiar with. Yeah.
And there's a huge amount of kind of snobbery. Come on, Eddie. Sick him.
Go get him, Eddie. Go on anyway.
There's a huge amount of snobbery around screen time. And in this day and age, it is very hard to stay away from the screens.
It just
kids.
is.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's part of parenting. And listen, we all in the 90s we were plonked in front of the fucking Cartoon Network.
100%.
And on a Saturday morning we come down and watch the funnies for a while, but while mum and dad had
the Fun Factory,
So it is part of it. But Miss Rachel has been called as good as screen time gets. That was quoted in the Guardian by a
child psychologist or something.
Yes, or a children's speech therapist, basically. So it's as good as you're going to get. And I quickly realised that there was a lot more to Miss Rachel than just a sing-songy, vacuous children's TV programme kind of thing. So, hey, will I throw it?
Yeah, throw it, yeah.
Come on, Eddie. Oh, no, he's going to take down the whole
you
thing.
You can really throw it. Like, you can, like, lob it, like, the whole length of the house. Like, he's just up now.
So, she covers all types of topics. There's, the farm, the supermarket, fruits, letters, numbers, phonics, all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So there's endless amounts of videos.
And there's
on
no
there.
specific kind of overarching, like Sesame Street, for example. You think of Sesame Street and it's like, all the kids on Sesame Street, they hang out in front of the stoops and they do this and they do that and they do the other.
All her stuff was done green screen and
fucking dog. Sorry.
He really wants to be front and center here.
I know. Okay, Eddie, chill, please, buddy. Go ahead.
Okay. So there was no set as such. It was just her. Like Miss Rachel came from the pandemic. That's where.
Yeah, that's where. That's where I should say. That's where
really
it started. Yeah.
Grew from. So it all actually began for her when her son, who was about 2 when the pandemic began, had a speech delay.
Right.
And she found that there was no real resources online to help him along. And obviously at that time there wasn't any in-person classes going on.
Of course, yeah.
So she was seeing a speech therapist with him, probably online, and essentially she took the lessons that she was being taught and that was, her son was being taught through the speech therapy and decided to kind of create them into this.
And she was obviously working with the speech therapist as well. We should say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she also has a musical education background.
Right.
Her husband is massively involved in Broadway, so there was a lot of singing and dancing in their home, I imagine. But basically, the episode are presented in a way that she's in front of a green screen, she's singing her songs, she's doing her kind of slow down speech and sing-songy, but it's essentially repetition and breaking the words down into phonics, and it becomes apparent quickly that it's more than just entertainment for kids. There's actually an educational value to it as well, but still quite annoying to listen to.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, because like I had to do speech therapy when I was a kid.
Okay.
I
never knew this about you.
Did you not?
No.
Okay.
In all the years we've known each other.
In all the years, yeah. I had a really, really bad lisp. I had
Okay.
like a really debilitating lisp that
Ah.
like I had to like speak. I used to speak through my nose,
Right.
and I had to go to do speech therapy. And one of the things you're taught is it's basically you just have to repeat the phrase over and over
Okay.
again. So for me, it was like 7 silly sausages sizzling on a skillet.
Yes.
7 silly sausages sizzling on a skillet. Just repeating that again
Yes.
and again because I used to talk to my nose. So it was just all the S's as much as possible. And it got that bad that I was literally over in a corner just being like no, because it was I knew it was annoying for everyone, but you have to keep repeating it.
Yeah,
And
of
that's the thing.
course.
And like for other people, like if a kid is learning how to play violin, for example, it's so annoying to hear.
There's a lot of practice that makes
Exact-
perfect, kind of. Yeah.
Exactly. But at the same time, you have to do it because repetition is the only way
Have
that
to do
kids
the
will
work.
take it in.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. So I actually, not only did she soothe Finn, right? So there definitely was, when her voice would be heard or her face would come on the screen, Finn would go, like
Yeah,
this
that's
big
the thing.
smile on
Yeah,
his
yeah,
face.
yeah.
He loved her, still does.
Right.
How
How old is Finn now?
He's 3.
Right, okay.
So he's definitely less. He's definitely less in love with her now than he was because like Spider-Man and Paw
Sure.
Patrol have entered the universe.
Paw Patrol.
Oh, Paw Patrol is a big one.
Really?
Yeah, but Spider-Man, he's really big into Spidey and Friends at the moment, which is, it's actually, it's kind of terrifying for him still. He's a little young for it, but he loves it. But Rachel he's definitely phasing out Rachel.
Is that
But-
right?
Yeah, but he still does have a fondness for her. But I found it amazing what he had actually picked up from her. And it's not to say that I wasn't teaching my son things as well. But
Okay, Shauna, you're a terrible mother.
no, but I also was figuring out that I was underestimating what he was capable of. So because I was a first time mum,
Of course,
I
yeah.
didn't know that I could be doing letters and numbers with him as like at 6 months older. I didn't know that like he'd be, but by 1.5 he was able to go through the numbers. Now he wasn't able to enunciate super clearly, but
Sure.
I knew he was saying 1, 2, 3. So she was able to teach him. It's like I let Miss Rachel do all the parenting. There's no doubt she was the third parent in
in the house. Yeah.
But she numbers, letters, phonics.
She did all of that, like-
it was amazing what he started then throwing back out at me, and I said, "Oh, that's all from Rachel.
Wow.
That's not me. I can't claim credit for that. That's Rachel."
Right. Hold on a second.
yeah,
I'm going to
you're
save this dog. Eddie, my poor little boy. You did that yourself now.
What did you do? Oh, the tomato. Okay.
Hold on. Sorry. Now, you have to stop, lad. You have to stop. On the next one. See, this is why I did it with you, because you'd be okay with this.
Yeah, of course.
But you, Eddie, come here now when I have
But it's
you.
nice to have the informal little dog.
Yeah, the little kind of, makes it a little bit more kind of, you're just going mad. Eddie, will you chill out, please?
We might need to put on Miss Rachel for Eddie.
You know something? If there was some sort of like soothing thing for dogs that would chill them out, I would absolutely. See, this is it. Like, I don't like. You were saying there about like judgment of parents and stuff like and screen time and all the rest. And of course, this wasn't a thing when we were growing up. There was
No.
no such thing as like, oh, your kid has too much screen time.
No.
Or any of that. Like, it just wasn't a thing. But like since YouTube and Fitbits and this sort of like everything is metrics now. Everything is like how much how are you optimizing?
There's
everything.
figures and numbers.
Exactly, to back it all up.
Measurements.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that is very, very harmful, I
Yes.
think. And again, I say this as somebody who doesn't have kids, but recognizes that that's an additional pressure
Yeah.
for parents.
Yeah.
So you were saying there about like, Finn is picked up on, phonics and all the rest of it. Does that then make you kind of think, like the fact that Miss Rachel is doing this surely shouldn't play school, or
Yeah.
you know, shouldn't they be doing this? Like, why are they leaving this off? Like, is it just purely?
Well, I think what
And again, I'm asking because
yeah.
I
Well, so Finn only starts play school this September, right?
Right,
So he
okay.
hasn't reached that point yet. And I imagine that once he does get to play school, and maybe when you and I went to play school, that's where it started for us.
perhaps,
But
yeah.
now he and lots of other kids have a bit of a head start, maybe. You know?
Yeah.
And it just familiarizes them with things that maybe they like what I was saying earlier on. I underestimated what he was capable of at
Right.
you know, so I think that's maybe just a part of it. I think the system is still there, whereby at 3 they go to play school and they start learning their letters and their numbers and their colours and all that, but it's probably more in depth, whereas this is, I suppose, an overview, a beginner's guide
Yes,
to,
it's an easing
it's an
into it.
introduction. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But like, it has flown for her, right? So I'm sure, like, you know, the timing of it, pandemic, everyone was at home.
Yeah.
Kids were out of school. It was probably an invaluable resource for families then.
Yeah.
But, and you could say right place, right time. But I actually wouldn't take it away from her. She's excellent and she deserves the success. She puts a lot of effort into things and you can tell. But she
got like a Netflix deal.
so she has now, like, talk about a success story.
Yeah.
She has 15 million subscribers on YouTube. And I think it's something like, I have it written down here, 11 billion views in total, right? So that then led to Netflix deal. So
Yeah.
she launched on Netflix earlier on this year. Toy range. She collaborated with this really big toy company called Melissa and Doug. She has a range of toys now, a range of books. There's a book deal with Penguin. So really the sky is the limit for Rachel. And I believe that it will eventually become on par with the likes of
Sesame Street. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's going to be this
That's-
worldwide brand.
Yeah, because like, I mean, the whole thing of like, what I do remember about Sesame Street was the fact that it was like the Children's Television Workshop was the company that made it, Eddie, and the whole thing of it was that they basically wanted it to look like they wanted it to look like where kids were playing.
Yeah.
Which was on stoops in the street. It looked a bit messy.
Yeah.
You know, you had Oscar, coming up out of a
Garbage can.
dustbin.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had Big Bird.
Yeah.
As in, there was a lot of kind of, familiar sort of markers. And one thing I noticed about Miss Rachel, which I have to say, I think this must be just like the uniform for kids presenters now, is the dungarees.
Dungarees, yeah.
What is it with the dungarees?
So she wore the dungarees from the very first
Because they had that in
episode.
Bosco as well. Like,
Yes, it's non-threatening.
is it non-threatening?
It's non-threatening.
It's like Superman with the trunks.
Yeah, it's warm. It's
Familiar.
yeah, familiar, and it became so. In the earlier episodes, you'll notice that she wears different colors. So she wears, sometimes it's a yellow stripy top under
Yeah.
the dungarees. Sometimes it's red. Sometimes she's got a red hairband on. But as obviously her success grew, she no, I don't even mean that she was able to afford better clothes, but she just I'd say
Production value
they
went up.
began to say, let's have a uniformity here. So it's pink top, dungarees, pink hairband, and pink cons if
Yes.
so if she's in a full shot. You're talking about production values there as well. Like, the early videos are very basic.
Right.
It's a green screen in her New York City apartment. There's very little space.
I kind of love that though.
Yeah. And there was something really charming about
That's
it.
what I mean.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. The fact that it's a one mother
Yeah.
trying to has worked out some sort of thing that works for kids, and
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going to share this with other
She's
mothers.
trying to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the kind of like the DIY attitude
Yeah.
of it.
Now, it has, obviously,
Clear.
as she's become more successcul, the production values have improved dramatically.
Yeah, she's
And
got Christopher
now-
Nolan directing
Yeah,
it
now
now.
she has a full set, and there's, the graphics are much better and the production is much better. But the heart and soul is still there. So the cast has kind of largely remained the same.
Right.
As I mentioned, her husband was heavily involved in musical theatre. I think she was too, but him more so. And he would have been, a composer and songwriter.
Yeah.
So a lot of the episodes are sing songs, and some are some are original songs, some are nursery rhymes, all that stuff.
Right.
But a lot of the cast, and she has a kind of a supporting cast, would be pals of theirs from musical theatre. So there is a lot of like singing and dancing, but it works like. But that is one thing that I love about Miss Rachel, and it's something that over the years I've grown to realise, that she is as genuine as you believe she might be. So obviously,
hold on, Eddie, give it a rest.
Good boy, it's all right.
Good boy, it's all right.
So she's as genuine as you believe she might be. Obviously, with children's entertainers, you hear all these stories about that they're assholes behind the scenes,
like Barney and stuff. Yeah.
But I believe that she's as good and as wholesome as she portrays herself to be. So her cast is she's very inclusive, right?
Right.
So her cast, there's a cast of her mates, and essentially she's presenting without comment people from all walks of life.
Yes.
And it's not tokenistic. It's done in a way that's really inclusive. And she's very aware of diversity.
Yeah.
And it's really important in children's TV.
To see the kids, however sheltered they may be, they're seeing that kids can, have, just the kids are contain multitudes, and some kids will look different, and they'll have different,
exactly.
and all that kind of stuff. And that's that's really, really important, because as you say, like if it's coming from the pandemic where, playgrounds were closed and all the rest of play schools, and it's you won't realize that there are other kids out there who may whatever it is
have a hearing aid, or may be in a wheelchair, or may need this assistance or whatever, and she features all those types of children, and it's presented without comment, and it might open a conversation. So for instance, Finn would never have met in person someone with in a wheelchair. But now it's not alien to him, and it's
he's seen Miss Rachel with a kid in a wheelchair, and he doesn't think anything of it.
No.
Now. That's the thing.
But it has, I suppose, that attitude that she has taken to be really strong on the inclusion is it has
sparked backlash.
Yeah.
How?
So in 2023, one of the cast members is Jules, and Jules is singing and dancing and is a really big part of the cast.
Right.
And Jules is they, them. Jules is non-binary.
Right.
And Jules is non-binary, right?
Right.
So, that's, as I said, presented without comment. But as she became more popular, people from across the country were watching her, across the world, and this drew criticism, and people were
now that is look, right, here's the problem I have with that, right? We grew up with Bosco. Bosco was non-binary.
Absolutely.
We never, like, it was I actually remember being like 30 and realizing, oh yeah, Bosco, we never knew if Bosco where they were on the gender spectrum. And then of course it was like, Eddie, stop. And then it was like I remember, I think they were doing some interview or something, like, I'm not a boy or a girl, I'm a Bosco. And it's like, oh yeah, all right. And then this was it. Then it was like, okay, grand, all right, well, fine, whatever. So what? Do you know that kind of way? Like, so like, if we're like, I'm pushing 40, like, and I mean, I'm fine with it. Like, so like, if a kid now sees Jules, and Jules is non-binary,
I know.
What's the
and
how can you honestly sit there and criticize that?
To me, there's only positives. And
that's what I mean.
And incidentally, Jules is Finn's favorite character. And anyway, Jules withdrew from the show for a while. Rachel withdrew for a while because there was just such a tirade of
it.
And obviously the social media following had grown as well, and there was just the commentary was really toxic. And thankfully, Rachel, rather than kind of bowing to this pressure and this criticism, doubled down and said, it's really important to me that we feature everybody in the
Yes.
show. This is everybody's show.
Yes.
And so that has been a huge theme for her. And more recently, she has garnered quite a bit of press around her speaking out
on Gaza,
on
yeah,
Gaza.
kids in Gaza, yeah.
And has had just dreadful abuse on it. Really, really terrible. And she did an interview, and it actually just made me so sad for her. She looked broken as a person because she doesn't understand.
How can you be
Rightly
against?
so.
Yeah.
How can you wish this child to be without food, shelter, they have no family, they've lost limbs? How can you criticize someone for speaking up for
what did
them?
that kid like? This is like, yeah, because like there's a new video going around of Miss Rachel talking about a little kid called Lean.
Yes.
In Gaza, and it's like, I mean, like I always go back to that thing that Nicola Coughlan was talking about when she was, very prominent about Palestine. She's like, I'm against people being bombed.
This is it. When you strip it down to the basics, this is what it is. Yeah.
I'm against people being bombed. That's it. I'm against people being starved to death.
Yeah.
I'm against people being bombed. That's all there is to it. It's nothing else. Eddie, stop. So it's like, why is it? Like, how can you honestly sit there and say, how could you criticize somebody for, okay, whatever about an actor, you can say, oh, well, they're an actor and da-da-da. But a kid's entertainer is saying, you know what? Kids in Gaza are just as much kids as kids in Brooklyn, as they are in Klein, as they are in London.
Yeah.
Kids are kids, and kids are innocent.
And so what she also had to kind of specify, by the way, I mean all children who are subject to this kind of treatment, whether it's in Ukraine or whether it's in Gaza or wherever it is. I'm not just singling out Gaza, but that is something that needs to be spoken about. But I mean all children deserve these rights and deserve to be treated in this, or don't deserve to be treated in this way. So she has really, really doubled down on it, and I'm so happy for her and proud of her for doing that.
Yeah.
Because she has been threatened, with you're going to lose your
you'll lose your deal and all this.
And she says, if I do, so be it. I would rather be on the right side of history and know that I spoke up and used my platform for good. And so that made me look at her in a different light.
Yeah.
And I really believe that she needs to be protected at all costs, because I think she's a really important figure to have in our children's lives.
Yeah, and like I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because like we're so used to, like, you think of like,
could he go out, or could he go? No.
Eddie, go. Like, I think, there's so much now, I think, about, like, I'll just use Disney as an example, right? And it's a massive, massive corporation behind it. And of course, because it's a massive corporation, the reality of it is
Eddie wants to be part of the conversation.
Eddie, would you like to be part of the conversation?
What do you have to say?
Eddie, what do you have to say? Eddie, what do you have to say about Miss Rachel?
Oh yeah,
yes, no.
I agree.
Interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
Miss Rachel is a national treasure, and she should absolutely enjoy all the protections that other entertainers have. Let's separate the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Huh, Eddie? So, no, what I was saying was that, like, you look at, like, say something like Disney, for example, and like Disney, not to single them out, but like they are a massive multi-million or multi-billion corporation. So the reality of it is that they are always going to hem towards the safest, most reliably inoffensive version of whatever it is. And to see something like Miss Rachel, which, was very much homespun, literally doing it in her apartment, came from such a, you know, like such a wholesome,
Yeah.
genuine place that she was like, I'm a mother. I noticed that my kid was having trouble with speech. So I developed this and it just snowballed into this thing. Like, that to me is like, you know, that's when I see, we're both doing it.
Sorry. It's like, oh my God.
No, but it's one of those things that is like, that restores, whenever I'm very, very, very ambivalent about the internet as a whole. Like, part of me thinks maybe it was a mistake. Maybe,
Yeah, I hear you.
you know, that kind of way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. But then you see something like Miss Rachel, which again, here was a young mother had a camera and a dream.
Yeah.
And I know that's
Make the movie. Yeah.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
like
yeah,
it came from nothing and
It did, yeah.
just snowballed. That is
It
just
was organic, yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
It was organic. And that to me is very, very heartening to see.
And it's also, it's...
Do you get a bit emotional about it? I feel like you get a bit emotional
because
about it.
what I just respect, I respect her stance. I respect the fact that she is unbothered by the threat of losing it all.
Yeah.
By standing up for what she believes in. Her take on it is, you know, this is lovely and this is great and I'm sure the money
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I was happy before I had it.
And I'll be happy afterwards.
And I'll be happy afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel strongly about it because I think she can be dismissed as, you know.
Oh no, same.
Yeah.
Same. I again was very, very initially dismissive of
Yeah.
it.
And one more thing to note is that, like, what she's doing there, providing this service, you know, it's helping people who don't have access to speech therapy, who can't afford private speech therapy or are on a waiting list for 5 years.
Yeah.
That they can be doing something in the
Yes.
while. And I'm not saying that it's for everybody and it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna help every situation.
But it's proactive.
It's proactive, yeah.
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 That is really important. That is very important. Okay, Eddie, buddy, you need to chill out and we need to wrap it up.
We do.
I think.
Let's have some lunch.
Let's have some lunch. So, Shauna O'Reilly, entertainment reporter for the Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show, producer on the Ian Dempsey Breakfast Show. Where can we find you? Where can we find your stuff? What are you up to next? What are you doing next?
Well, I'm on air every morning, Monday to Friday on Today FM. Between 7:45 and 7:50, roughly, time
10 minutes.
time permitting. I'm on air doing the showbiz every morning with Ian, and then I'm on Instagram, Shauna O'Reilly 86.
Well, tell me this: what's been your favourite so far of the year? What's been your favourite showbiz story of the year so far?
Oh, very good. Oh, let me see. Hang on, let me see.
You can have a think about it now. I'll tell you what mine's been.
Go on.
Right. I have been following the whole stuff with basically, like, it ends with us, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's juicy. Yeah.
Because for a film that was so boring and so uninspired and so bleh
Yeah.
and so meh,
Yeah.
and, you know, Blake Lively, again, very boring woman.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't mind her.
oh, you're on her side
Oh,
of
no,
this?
no. I'm not on anyone's side. I don't mind her.
That's what I'm saying to you. She's inoffensive.
Yeah.
She's inoffensive. Like,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, Justin Baldoni. I mean, what a.
Again, I knew nothing of this chap
No,
until
nor
until
Nor
this
I.
ends with us. No fucking clue who he was. My favourite story of the year has been the Katy Perry.
Her
Blue
going to
Origin-
space.
Blue Origin. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Blue Origin. Yeah.
Katy Perry Blue Origin. Her comeback, not doing great. The arc then of now her marriage. It's not that it's my favourite story.
No, but like, no, come on. Like, okay. Here's what I would say about Katy Perry. All right.
There's been an arc. to
There
the
has been
story.
an arc.
Yeah.
Like, that woman has lived 10 years this year. Like,
Yes.
I mean, she has. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, she went to space, divorced her
I sound
husband.
Absolutely awful.
No.
That is my favourite story of the year.
No, I agree.
There's just been many developments
Correct.
in the story.
It's an ongoing.
Yes.
It's an ongoing.
It's because I remember delivering the first story, which was Katy Perry is going to space, and then it was Katy Perry's going to space for 7 minutes, and then it was Katy Perry defends the fact that she kissed the ground when she got back from space, and then it was Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom haven't been seen since,
Yeah.
together in 8 weeks, and now so as a showbiz reporter, there's been
there's
plenty
you love
plenty
that.
of developments.
Yeah, you can keep this going.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than going, rumors say blah blah, and there's no actual concrete information. Whereas there's information coming left, right, and center here.
There's too much information. It's almost like Katy Perry. I don't give a shit. Please stop. Please stop.
But
I don't
don't agree with the assassination of Katy Perry's character either. But
why?
Because I don't think she deserved the flack that she got. It's a lot of bullshit. Because if it was a flight of 7 men, it wouldn't have made a big fucking splash like it did.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're
really getting into it.
Now we're gonna lock horns on
Yeah.
this, right? I take your point.
Yeah.
I 100% take your point. You're right. If it was 7 men, like William Shatner went up there with Jeff Bezos.
I didn't even know that.
There you go.
Shatner gets away scot-free.
Yeah, old Captain Kirk got up there.
Fuck that.
Now, here's the funny part about it, right? This is the thing that I
Go
find
on.
fascinating about
Yeah.
Blue Origin and William Shatner and this whole kind of like space tourism
Yeah.
thing, right? Shatner came down to Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the video. You can look it up. Shatner got out of the Blue Origin spacecraft and he basically was having like a nervous breakdown. And it wasn't like, oh God, I don't ever want to go into space again. He was like, we don't realize how vulnerable Earth is. And I seeing it from space made me realize how we have to protect the environment and all the rest of it. And like Jeff Bezos was like, oh my God, I'm bald and I'm in space. Aren't I great?
This is my stag do.
Yeah, this is my stag do. Let's take some HGH here and let's do some tricep workouts with my big bald head. And I'm gonna go send my wife up with fucking Gail King.
Yeah.
And fucking
Oprah's best pal.
And Oprah's best pal, who then came when she got down to the fucking. When she came down, she was like, Jeff Bezos is gonna put all the rubbish in space.
What?
She said that. She literally said, she was like,
Okay.
oh yeah, people are talking about, how this was this was a waste of resources and all the rest of it. Well, Jeff Bezos is figuring out ways about putting, trash in space.
Brilliant. So we haven't fucked our own planet enough. We're going to actually head on into space.
We're just going to peg the rubbish into space because
and they can deal with it. It's grand.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's like a joke from Futurama. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Like, no, I think Katy Perry deserves the character assassination.
No.
I mean, I'm not in a misogynistic kind of way. I'm just saying.
We could really get into this because there's a couple of different points. I think it's also because she is an older woman now, so she is no, Brian, no. It's because she is now, seen as a has-been because she's 40.
She's not a has-been because she's 40. She's a has-been because she's a has-been. California Girls was a long time ago.
Yeah. But there was some decent tracks on that new album, what was called 143, that got absolutely ripped asunder. But I think there was a couple of good, there was certainly one that was good. And it's just not been given the airtime because, of everything.
Because it's crap.
No, but even her tour, and people are slagging her on her tour. And like, listen, it happens with all women of a certain age. Like Madonna got the same treatment. I'm sure Mariah Carey is viewed in the same way. It's just because she's older. I disagree. Listen, I'm probably getting a bit sensitive about it, but I just think I don't feel she deserved the shit that she got. And I will die on that hill because as you can talk about all the the wasteful element of it,
sure.
and tone deaf, totally tone deaf.
Totally tone deaf.
I don't agree with what.
No, yeah, I don't think anybody does.
But I also don't agree with her being like the scapegoat and the joke and the
she's the most recognizable person. Do you know that sort of way?
She just did something. If it was offered to me, I'd go, that's pretty cool to go into space.
You don't think her holding the little flower when she was floating?
Her daughter's name is Daisy. She was doing a little message to her daughter at home. I mean, and if I went up into space, I'd tell Finn that I'm going to wave at him. People, think about people, in fucking Winning Streak. They're waving in the background at their kid at home. This woman is in space.
You gotta do the Winning Streak wave. Like it's the... it's the little...
Say hello to everyone at home.
Say hello down in Termonfeckin.
And holding their banners.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just
Yeah.
an elevated version of winning streak. I don't know how I got here. I'm not even sure if I'm making sense anymore.
I've blanked out. What? Blue Origin, we were talking about Miss Rachel, and now we're talking about winning streak as Blue.
And our friendship of 30 years is now over because we've gotten violent.
We're gonna have to just retreat into the hills now.
Retreat into the hills.
That's it.
Down to the Curragh with us.
Down to the Curragh, just retreat into the hills. Just living out in the
Down to
bushes.
Donnelly's Hollow. Kildare fact. Donnelly's Hollow.
Donnelly's Hollow. Did I ever tell you the story? Fuck it, we'll keep going. Did I ever tell you the story? My brother Andrew got left behind in Donnelly's Hollow once.
And he's carried it forward ever since.
You have no idea.
So hang on. For context, Donnelly's Hollow is on the Curragh.
It is.
It is like is it a natural?
It's a natural slope in the because you see
It's like a valley, isn't it?
It's like a tiny valley.
Wasn't there something to do with boxing?
There was a boxing match that was held there in like the 20s or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's like a little stone plaque there to memorize it, I guess. But it's nothing. Like it's a weird little
it's
hillock
yeah,
thing.
but I remember as a child like climbing back up.
Oh yeah, you'd climb up, and there was
yeah.
like the little
like
the
ridges.
Yes,
where you kind of put your feet. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Andrew was left there once. Just drove off.
The
parents, like my dad, like we're all playing there. We're all just like dumped in Donnelly's Hollow, and the parents went off somewhere, like
down to Cupbush.
just somewhere. Yeah, just went somewhere. We just left there for 3 hours in a hollow, playing. The 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s. You know, this is what you could get away with.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, car pulled up, the little Opel Kadett pulled up. We all piled in the back of it. No seatbelts.
But like, there was only 3 of you.
There's only 3 of us, and
So
I think there was like our next, because
Okay.
again, this was like the next door neighbours.
So there was a gang of you.
Oh, there was like
Yeah.
about 10 of us.
Yeah,
Like there was
okay.
about 10 of us, like all piled into this little. Actually, it wasn't an Opel Kadett. It was an Austin Metro. There you go.
Oh, right.
Smaller
Okay,
again,
okay,
right?
yeah.
And there was Andrew standing at the top of the hill. And like couldn't get down and like waving, trying to get down, and the car pulled off. We're like, Andrew's still there.
Oh my God.
I was like, all right, I'll go back and get him. Like
the poor
went the
kid.
long way around.
Poor child.
He's held that. Like Andrew's like 42 now.
Yeah.
He's held that for
Listen,
years.
I don't blame him.
You know, that's talking about Miss Rachel. Like, I mean, that's
We've come full circle.
We've come full circle.
Yeah.
That's a formative moment. You know what I mean? Formative moments in a child's life and child's development.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, Shauna O'Reilly, thank you very much.
Can I shake your hand?
We could just a little. Oh, your hands are wet.
I'm sorry. They're so sweaty. I always have the clammy hand.
God.
Sorry.
Oh,
A little
Jesus.
wet fish hand.
Oh, take my good hand. Okay, so that was our interview with Shauna. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. If you like the show, please subscribe. A rating would be great as well. You can get this on Spotify and YouTube. Leave comments by all means. You can get me on Instagram. You can get me on TikTok. You can get me wherever. I'm on TV. I'll be on Ireland AM every Thursday doing reviews, shorter ones. I'm on radio as well. I do be on The Last Word on Today FM. I do be on News Talk, Movies and Booze. I'm around. So that's everything. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing more of these. So leave a comment, subscribe, like and subscribe. Thanks so much. Hope it wasn't too boring, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Say bye-bye, Eddie. Nothing?